Welcome to Petty Details, where we skip down a tree-lined lane of conversation on subjects from music to history and everything in between. Join Meg and Monica in our quest for nuggets of knowledge on all kinds of different subjects. Our journey will drop some petty details on you that you didn't know you needed to know until now. Welcome, welcome, welcome! We are going to do a construction engineering disasters episode of Petty Details today. But before we start, I need to correct something that I said in the Poltergeist episode.
Oh.
Yeah, my bad, but Craig T. Nelson does not play Patrick and SpongeBob. It is actually one of his co-stars that was in the TV show Coach, a guy named Bill Fagerbucky, something like that. He played Dauber. But that's why it's stuck in my head. Tall blonde dude.
Yeah, okay.
But that's why it stuck in my head that it was Craig T. Nelson. But totally clicked the other night when I was watching SpongeBob that I'd incorrectly attributed a SpongeBob character to Nelson. So I'm sorry, Bill, for taking away all of your Patrick glory. I'm sorry, listeners, for giving you false information. I know.
Do your research, people. No, I'm just kidding.
Right?
Yeah.
Everyone do their individual research.
You know
Yes.
I'm gonna get comments on that though, on that Poltergeist.
Oh,
Trust, but verified.
I fully believed you. I trust. I was like, I don't know the
So
why.
did I.
I was like, sure.
I didn't watch SpongeBob enough to like really recognize voices anyways, so.
Yeah. No, he doesn't, like, I guess he sort of sounds like him, but like you wouldn't really know that. I just happen to know that. And I did know that at the time. I just got the names wrong, so my bad. Sorry. Please forgive me. Please continue to listen to my episodes and know that I will be wrong sometimes.
20 lashes with a wet noodle to you.
I will mess up names.
That is your punishment.
And some of the stuff I get on the internet, so you know how that can always be trusted. So
Abraham Lincoln said you can always trust what's on the
exactly.
I just was gonna say that. That's crazy.
So now you know. There you go. All right. So today we are going to be talking about construction.
Woohoo!
Ham.
Building things.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Legos, Tinker Toys, Bob the Builder. There's my references. And
Erector set.
Bob the
That's all.
Builder. Can we fix it?
Yes.
I love me some Bob the Builder. So, but this is an episode that's probably going to freak you out, and make you not want to go over a bridge for a while.
Hopefully you don't have to. Hopefully you don't have to, traverse bridges too often in your daily life.
Yeah, in Louisiana, there are no bridges there. It's fine.
It's all rivers. We have bridges everywhere. No, some of them I get scared, especially like there's like big bridges that go across like Mississippi River stuff, and that's like I'm like, just get me over. Just get me over.
Yeah.
I just need to get to the other side and I'm done. That's all. And then you got to come back to go home and I'm like, oh.
I hate this. There's a big bridge in Louisiana, southern Louisiana. It is big black, like metal.
That's what
and it's named after.
No, I was waiting. I'm not gonna say it.
And Monica got you for the 14th time today. So
I got you.
You got me for sure, yeah. So this bridge was named after, I don't know, some senator or something. And it's scary as hell because it's super narrow. And that's a lot like the bridge that we're going to be talking about. So
the senator or the bridge is what I was going to ask, but
no, I don't know anything
super
about the
scary,
senator.
Real narrow.
So hopefully our resident construction manager, Monica, can help us fill in some petty construction details here.
I'll try.
Okay.
No promises, but I'll try.
So our first bridge disaster is probably one of the most famous ones. It is called the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. Do you know anything about this, Cam?
It sounds familiar. And I have seen footage of a bridge getting hit by, well, I don't want to spoil anything.
So you've seen footage of a bridge.
That's as
far as we're going with that.
Footage of a bridge getting destroyed. That's all I'll say. Whether it was the Tacoma Narrows or not, up to
Okay.
determination
You
of
will find out in a minute here. And
Okay.
Monica, I know, does know this story because it is studied in engineering classes.
I had to study it in school when I was getting my degree for construction management.
Mhm.
Yep.
So this is a
Good
big deal
times.
mistakes
out
of
there.
others.
So if you don't know anything about it,
How not to
then,
build a
well,
bridge.
you're going to find out today. So this is a suspension bridge that was built in Washington State. It went over the Tacoma Narrows Strait of Puget Sound in between Tacoma and the Kitsap Peninsula. So people had been wanting this bridge there for lots of years, like since the 1880s. But
Oh, wow.
about 1923 is when they really started looking into getting this done. They're starting doing studies, they're talking to engineers, stuff like that. And in some of these studies and stuff like that, they consulted a few super well-known bridge engineers, including the guy who built the Golden Gate Bridge in my hometown of San Francisco, woo woo, which is probably one of the most famous bridges out there in the world. And David B. Steinman, the designer of the Mackinac Bridge. But it takes until about 1937 for any real money to be put into this thing, when the Washington State Toll Bridge Authority gives $5,000, which is about $96,000 today, to do a study to get this bridge idea rolling.
And that
That's
was
just for the study.
Okay, I was gonna say, wait a second. Just for the study, not construction, because
For the construction of the
96
bridge explains a
Mo-
lot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say $96,000 today is not gonna build you much of a bridge.
No. Nor would it then, but
No.
yeah, do remember that this
Made
is
out of
during
popsicle sticks, maybe.
Yeah.
well, you know, this one was pretty close, but it is during the Depression, so just remember that. Okay. So obviously one of the problems is financing. They're in the middle of depression. Nobody really has any money for this. So their whole idea is they're going to charge a toll on the bridge. But then they found out that the money from the tolls wasn't going to be enough to cover the construction costs.
Okay.
So they're tolling on a bridge that's been constructed, or that
No,
hasn't been
that's their plan, is they're gonna make a toll on this bridge when it's built.
to pay for
To
it
make up
after the fact.
to make
I
up
see.
for the cost.
I see. Yes.
Yeah. So they also have to buy out this ferry contract that was running in the Narrows back then. Okay.
Because that's how they were getting across at that time, was on the ferry, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And they can't afford any of the big names in bridge engineering. But they get this guy from the Washington State Highway Department named Clark Eldridge to design it. He's not an elite in bridge building, but he goes with some very well-established conservative practices that are out there at the time, and he submits his design. But the state can't pay for this, so they start to ask for federal money. So the feds are like, okay, we'll give you some cash, but you're going to have to bring in this suspension bridge specialist named Leon Moiseev. Again, might be butchering that name. But this guy, Leon, is going to review the design and he's going to try and cut down on the cost, which is always a good thing in bridge construction.
It's always a good thing in construction, period. Yay, let's cut costs. No. This is when bad things happen.
So this dude Leon is big on this theory at the time that, I don't even want to say this with Monica there, that the stiffness of the main cables would absorb up to half of the wind pressure, and this energy will be transmitted to the anchors and towers. Okay. Really? I don't get it. I don't get it. That's what she said. I don't get anything.
I'm trying to be nice, and I'm trying to be
She was perplexed by the statement that you just
Right,
made.
yeah, she was like, wait,
You
what?
just-
That too. I missed the
Yeah.
stiffness part. That's what she said. I got myself.
You got yourself.
So this means that he thinks that they can use about 8-foot deep plate girders instead of the standard 25-foot deep ones that Eldridge had proposed. That's a big cut.
That is
That's a
that's
big
what she
cut.
said. That's a big difference though. Like 8 foot to 25 foot. That is
Yeah. So this obviously is going to cut down on the cost, but it's also going to make the deck the most slender deck that had been built at that time.
That's what she said. Okay, that's it.
Okay, that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
So
no.
obviously Eldridge
It could be filled with tons of.
Oh, it's yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
So
she said.
obviously Eldridge isn't cool with this and he objects. But money always wins, and they start building this new style bridge in September of 1938. Even at the smaller price, it's costing about $6 million in 1940s money. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So this bridge is kind of a big deal at this time. It's going to be the third longest suspension bridge at this time with a 2,800-foot central span. It's the first bridge to use this series of plate girders as road supports. And the bridge is only about 39 feet wide, but it's designed to have 2 lanes of traffic. Okay.
Narrows.
Narrows.
Well, yeah.
Emphasis on narrows.
Narrow. Yeah. 40 foot wide, 2,800 foot long. Yeah. That's a long, narrow bridge.
So, Monica, tell me.
Tell you what.
How are suspension bridges typically constructed
Okay.
during
So
this period, which is pretty much the same as today?
yeah, pretty much. The practices are still there for a reason. Okay, so everybody's familiar with what the Golden Gate Bridge looks like, right?
Yeah.
So the bottom side of that bridge, it looks like lattice work. You can see through the bottom part of that bridge. So what those are those are called trusses, and suspension bridges are generally built with those because it allows weather to hit the bridge and pass through it. Basically, it'll pass through the underside of the bridge, it'll go over the top side of the bridge without causing, I shouldn't say without causing any disturbance, but with causing very little disturbance to the bridge itself. Plate girders, if you haven't had a chance to look it up yet, basically look like an I-beam. So a capital I, that's what plate girders look like. It is a solid piece of steel. So you put plate girders together to build this bridge. You basically have a solid piece of steel. It's basically the way railroad bridges are built. Not all of them, but quite a few of them are built with plate girders. So it's not, I don't know, it seems kind of an odd choice for a suspension bridge, especially one spanning that long. So yeah, that underside of the bridge is really kind of the important part because that's the structural part, obviously, in addition to the piers that the uprights, if you will. And then yeah, all the suspension cables are tied to the uprights, the piers, and then to the decking. And that's what holds the bridge up, along with the road surface itself. So, I mean, you can imagine if the bridge is supposed to have that lattice work effect on the bottom side to allow weather to pass through, and this bridge doesn't.
Right.
You can imagine what issues are going to come up or what problems this could cause.
Which we will talk about shortly.
Yeah. Yeah.
This bridge is super flexible in the wind, like even moderate winds. And this is still during construction. So much
even
so.
like
Go ahead.
because the disaster itself, like it was what, 38-mile wind
45, but yeah.
an hour winds? 45, well, either way, 38 to 45. That doesn't sound super crazy. Like that's not a very high wind speed, especially in that part of the country, in this particular area. Like that's not very high wind speeds. Like it blows my mind that is what brought this down.
Well,
Nuts.
we are going to talk about this. So during construction, the guys named it Galloping Gertie because the bridge is moving so much.
Oh, that makes me sick.
Even during
Even-
construction, they recognized the flaws and the issues,
Uh-huh.
and but like you said, money talks,
Money
and
talks.
and it wins.
So this bridge is kind of moving up and down, but it's alternating between the halves of the bridge. So it's rising several feet at about 4-second intervals. They decide that they need to do something about this movement. So they try a few different things. The first thing that they try is to attach these tie-down cables to the plate girders and then anchor them to these huge concrete blocks that are on shore. And the cable snapped.
I can imagine.
Jeez.
Yeah. So then they try to put a pair of cable stays that connect the main cables to the bridge deck, but this didn't help the movement at all. It did nothing.
They're just throwing stuff at the wall.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. Then they try these hydraulic buffers between the towers and the floor system of the deck, which might have worked, but the seals of these hydraulic units were damaged when they sandblasted the bridge before painting.
They messed up their own fix.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This bridge is still moving, and it looks like when you take a string and you hold it at both ends and then you pull it up and down, it makes those waves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
You wanna
roller
know
coaster
why?
ride. That's what's
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
It is. It is. So I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna do a little experiment.
Oh,
Super scientific.
I-
show
one.
and tell, show
Su-
and tell, yay!
Super scientific, totally to scale.
Mhm. Basically,
abs-
the bridge itself.
Basically the
Yes.
bridge itself.
Absolutely. I believe.
I can't even get this to stand up. This is how well the
That's
bridge
what
is
she said.
constructed. Hold please. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready for this? This is such beauty I can't even express to you right now.
Completely
Okay.
accurate, historical,
Completely accurate,
factual.
Yes.
totally to scale. My little fruit roll-up bridge here
With toothpicks.
with toothpicks that are duct taped together. Okay, so this is our bridge.
That
With
is
our-
the best thing I've ever seen.
These are the toothpicks represent our towers. Is that what you called them? And this is our super thin roadway. Also, fruit roll-ups, if you want to sponsor us, please do that. I have
please.
our I have our completely accurate time period Hot Wheels here. So Hot Wheels if you want to sponsor us too. Okay. Oh,
The craziest combo ever.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. My bridge is falling apart already and I haven't even
Did
hit the
it
wind.
already break?
Okay, so we've got our little truck. This is going really well. We got our little truck on our bridge, and then I've got the fan that's very scientifically going to represent the wind on whatever setting I hit it on is going to represent 45 miles an hour. So are you ready?
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I feel like I'm in physics class again.
Right. So it's like
It's amazing.
So it's like
the
going like
accuracy.
this. Can you hear the wind?
Right.
And it's going like this. Oh no! Oh no! And
Spoiler alert.
our car has gone off the bridge. So it's gonna go like this. So that's our bridge. That's basically what our bridge is doing. And you can see how well it is held together. I've got one
toothpick
I've
left.
got one toothpick left. My car is gone. My hair
Your
is crazy.
$5,000 at work.
Yep.
That's your $5,000 of work. Yes.
They
And
should have
that
at the very least done this prior to construction. Where were
absolutely.
their
No,
fruit?
for real.
Where were your
were their
fruit
fruit
roll-ups and your
roll-ups?
toothpicks?
For the listeners
They're Hot
only, for
Wheels.
just the people listening and not watching, that whole section crazy to them. Use your imagination.
I've tried very
Absolutely.
hard to, give you an accurate description of what I was doing with sound effects. So there you go.
Yeah, I enjoyed the sound effects. It made
Yeah.
it for me.
Best part.
So this is what they should have done before they opened the bridge
Seriously.
on July 1st, 1940. Okay. So we're gonna fast forward to November 7th of 1940. So how many months is that, Cam?
Where did we begin at?
July 1st to November 7th.
July, like 3 months.
I guess September, October. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, August. 3 or 4
Mhm.
months.
3
Yeah.
months. Yeah. So there is a storm that comes into the Narrows and it's hitting the bridge broadside. The wind starts out at about 38 miles an hour at 7:30 in the morning and it continues to rise. This makes the bridge start galloping at about 2 to 5 feet high on the waves of motion. Yeah, which is about as tall as I am. 5 foot, not the 2 feet, not that I do anything.
2 to 5 foot high.
I just want to make that clear. I do not
2
have
foot
anything.
Meg. 2
Yeah.
foot Meg.
I don't have anything against 2 feet tall people, but I am not. I am 5. Well, I'm a little bit taller than that, depending on if I go to the chiropractor. So this is like a pretty big,
Yeah.
wave
Right.
gallop.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Eldridge gets called. And Eldridge is already pissed off about this bridge because he's like,
I told you.
Why are you building this way? This is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But he drives across the bridge at around 8:30 in the morning. By 9:30 in the morning, this professor from the college hears about this and comes out to film it so that he can use the film for his engineering studies.
How not to build a bridge 101.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, I gotta get video of this crap.
Exactly. So cars are still going across the bridge at this point.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the last car to make it safely across the bridge is a family in a bakery wagon. So there's a husband, a wife, and a 5-year-old son in this truck. And the kid recalled later, quote, the sides of the bridge were solid walls. I could see water on one side and then on the other. My mother was screaming a lot.
Oh
I
my
could see
God.
water on one side and then the other.
Uh-huh.
Like it was rocking that far, like side to side.
Side to side and up and
up
down.
and down.
This thing is
Oh, God.
terrifying right now.
Like
Oh
my
my
stomach
gosh.
just dropped.
I would be
Think
screaming
about
too.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
Have y'all seen that? I'm assuming y'all have seen a Final Destination movie.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
One of them.
Yes. Yes.
Have you seen all of them or no?
No.
No.
There's one with a bridge. I think it's one of the last ones. I think it's the last one. And
Okay.
like the bridge, it's not like this, but the bridge does fall out in the middle, and like that's the whole beginning part, kind of like the
Okay.
plane from the first one. And so anytime after that, any kind of bridge, especially like you describing that, like that's terrifying to me. That's terrifying to a normal person, but I feel like as like just like planes are now tainted because of the first Final Destination. I'm like,
Oh,
I've never flown a plane. I feel like I'd be scared to get in one.
that's why we don't
Yeah.
drive behind trucks that have logs on them.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Or
true. Oh.
yeah.
Yep, that's what
Or
we think
anything
about.
stacked like logs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
don't.
And this is
It's put
going to
a
help you
stain in
even more
us.
with this fear, Cam. So you're welcome.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you.
You're welcome in
you.
advance. Don't
So-
say we didn't do anything for you.
People are walking along this bridge too. There's some engineers and this college kid. Besides that, he's like, I've heard about this galloping stuff. I'm going to walk across this. This sounds like a good idea. College
That
kids are
sounds
dumb.
like he belonged to a fraternity and They
How
dared
dare-
him.
Yeah, that's exactly what that sounds like. By about 10 o'clock in the morning, there's a delivery van that gets on the bridge, and the news editor for the Tacoma News Tribune, by this time, this dude, Leonard Coatsworth, is also on the bridge.
Okay.
So Coatsworth has his daughter's dog, Tubby, which is a black spaniel, in the back of his car.
That's a cute name.
It is cute. But by
Tubby.
10:03 in the morning, the road starts twisting in this lateral motion that wasn't just the normal up and down. By 10:07, the movement is huge and the road is tilting 28 feet on either side. And it's twisting at around a 45-degree angle every 5 seconds.
Jeez. Oh.
My stomach just dropped. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
scary.
So I have
Oh.
found some footage of this
For real.
that I will try and describe to the people that are just listening. And this is one of those pieces of footage that we can use, I think, on our podcast. So we're going to see if we get shut down or not. But,
I was gonna say, you can't just find this like on YouTube, right?
you can find it on YouTube, yes.
Okay.
So, and it has sound. I've muted the sound. So, okay. Are you guys ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Are you ready for this, Cam?
Okay. This
Okay.
may
So
be the video I've seen. Who knows?
the bridge is twisting.
Oh no. I haven't seen this.
It's a close
I
up
mean,
of the bridge.
it is
Oh.
doing this number and
Do you see the car on the bridge?
Oh my. This is your fruit roll up, Meg.
It's my
Oh my
fruit roll up.
God.
Yes. Yeah.
It literally is wet noodle.
Yeah. So you see the car, there's a close up of the car being thrown around on this bridge. It is really twisting. That is the cable moving around when it probably shouldn't be moving like a couple inches to the side as it is
That's
right
not
there.
that's not even just the cable. That's what all the suspension cables
Oh
are
my God, is it
tied
gonna-
to.
And see all the
No.
people that are sitting there watching this?
Get out. What are y'all doing? I mean, safe distance away, please. Because
No.
all of
For
that,
real,
I
though.
mean,
It was
that
not a
could
safe
so
distance
fly
away.
at you.
Look at these people. They're just moseying.
No.
They're
They
like,
got
it's
Like
work.
fine.
nothing.
They have to get to work.
Yeah.
Right. Priorities.
It's the depression. They really don't care.
So there you go. Twisting
Oh.
and turning. There's a dude walking. I think that's the college guy.
No. No, no, no. Get off the.
But I
Imagine
mean,
the
think
amount
about
of
it.
stress.
This is asphalt and concrete and metal. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
it
Acting
should
like
not
it's
look
water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
it should not just be
More
undulating like
people
that.
moseying
The amount of
off the
stress.
bridge.
I'm curious of where the stress points are. Like I almost want like a, you know, they have like
That's
heat
Eldridge, I
signature.
believe. I don't know. I don't know that. But
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
And
I
that's
don't like roller
Coatsworth
coasters.
car.
This would make me sick.
Yep.
Oh my
Dude, that is
gosh.
absolutely nuts.
And there it goes.
Oh no.
Yep, and down.
Oh.
So there's the middle of the bridge falling down.
Ugh.
I hope everybody's okay.
So there you go. That is your
Yikes.
footage.
Nightmares.
Had you seen that before? Is that the one that
Ugh.
you saw?
I think so. It was at
Okay.
least part of a like bigger video. But I've definitely seen that footage. I've at least seen the footage of it breaking apart and falling.
Okay.
But that like this part was insane.
The
Mhm.
twisting.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, it's 28 feet and it looks like all of the 28 feet right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Ugh.
All right. So remember,
Ugh.
we got like a few people still on the bridge when it starts doing that. The two people in the delivery van start feeling this movement and they
Oof,
freak
that makes me
out.
sick.
They jump out of the van and they start crawling along the bridge. They get about
Rather
10
than driving off.
Yeah,
they-
and I'm not sure why.
Okay.
My first thing would be to hit the gas, but that wasn't
Yeah.
their first instinct. So
That would be my first thought.
I guess it depends on
Punch
where
it.
on the bridge I am. Am I closer to this side or that side? Because whichever one I'm closest to, that's where
Fair.
I'm going.
That's true.
Fair
That's
point.
true. So it is possible that it was easier just to walk back than it was to go forward.
And they may have been afraid to like put more weight to a certain place with the vehicle.
Also true. Also
I could
true.
Fair
see
point,
that.
too.
Yep.
That,
But they
yeah.
probably made a good choice there because they get about 10 feet away from the van and it falls over.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So this is
Mhm.
obviously something out of a disaster movie, as we have talked about.
Yeah.
But these guys are crawling along. They're holding onto the pavement to keep from getting thrown off the bridge. Pieces of the bridge are starting to explode around them. A lamp post falls over and almost hits one of the guys.
Oh my God.
Remember, we've also got Coatsworth, who is from the Tribune. At this point, he's about 450 feet into the bridge when his car stops. Now, I don't know why the car stopped. Car stops. He leaves the car, but he tries to get the dog to come out of the car. Tubby's not having it. Tubby's like, hell no, I'm not getting out of this car.
Tubby,
Oh,
no.
Tubby.
And then Coatsworth starts hearing the concrete cracking around him. He is thrown around. He's trying to get back to the car. The car's sliding from side to side. Then this other guy comes out and he's trying to help save the dog too, but he can't even get to the car.
Oh, geez.
So these guys are like crawling across this bridge, hands and knees bleeding. And even the professor, remember, who is filming all this from the bridge, tries to help Tubby. So he ends up getting to the car, but he gets bit by Tubby.
Oh, Tubby's like, I ain't having this.
Right. Tubby's not okay with any of this. And so he ends up having to leave him there because the professor barely got off the bridge in time.
Jeez.
So by 11 o'clock in the morning, this bridge is gone, along with Coatsworth's car, the delivery van,
Tubby,
and poor Tubby.
No.
We need a content warning. That's crazy.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Tubby didn't make it.
Tubby.
But somehow Tubby
Dang.
is the only death, which is crazy to me.
That's insane.
Like, if you think about that, though, like, any bridge today, even that early in the morning,
oh, there would be tons of people on it.
There'd be so many people on it.
Right.
I don't know if people just didn't take the bridge a lot at that
Because
point.
they are
might
like,
have
there were already
they might-
issues.
Yeah, they might have said go up 20
Right.
feet and be like, I'll take the long way around to get to work
Yeah,
today.
it could have been that they
exactly.
just weren't used to having it there because it'd only been there for 3 months, so it wasn't a big deal, or the toll was too high, or that they were
They had already
terrified of the
heard-
bridge.
They had already heard that
toll-
there were issues during construction.
Right.
But luckily, there
yeah.
were not a bunch of people on the bridge at the time.
But yeah,
Yeah.
miraculously.
Honestly.
So here's what's weird. The professor who filmed the whole thing, tried to get Tubby out, had been the one who had been called in October to do some studies about this bridge.
Before construction started.
No, this is after construction. Remember, it opened in July. It crashes in November. He's called in October because they're like, we got some problems with this bridge.
Gotcha. Okay. Timeline straight.
Yep. So he's an engineering professor, and I am not even going to attempt his name, but he is a professor at the University of Washington, and he is the only one who had done some wind tunnel tests on a scale model of the bridge.
Huh. The fruit roll up.
The fruit roll up. If somebody would have done this back before it was even constructed, they would have known that this was going to be a problem.
Seriously.
All they needed was a Hot Wheel, a fruit roll up, and some
toothpicks
and duct tape. They didn't even do that though. So yeah, until after the bridge was constructed.
So what did his studies find?
His studies.
Get off the bridge. That's
yeah. Don't build it that way.
Issues. And he came up with some proposed solutions in his studies that concluded only 5 days before the collapse. So one of the solutions was to, and this is actually a solution that they do today, was to drill holes in the lateral girders and the deck so that the airflow can circulate through them.
Okay.
So that's like an actual thing that is still in place today. So that probably would have helped.
Yeah.
The second was to give the deck a more aerodynamic shape, which I'm not exactly sure what that means.
Probably I would, if I had to guess, make it like thin on the outside, thicker. So the way the wind would go like over and not hit directly into
Yeah.
like this. It would just go like over it.
Maybe.
They would basically,
Yeah.
I would imagine basically build some kind of structure off the side of it to create a point off to the side so that, like you said, Cam, when the wind hits it, it's not hitting that straight side, the straight solid side of the
Oh, that
steel.
makes sense. Yeah.
It splits it basically and then makes it takes it up over the top and then down under the bottom.
Under.
Yeah.
So
But
Go
you said
ahead.
his studies concluded 5 days before the
5 days
collapse?
before the collapse.
Okay, so even they
That's
wouldn't
5
have
days to
even
be
had
like,
enough they
No.
wouldn't have even had enough time to like get somebody to cut.
Mm-mm.
Like that wouldn't have been
No.
no.
effective. Well, they wouldn't have been able to do it in time.
Yeah.
That's
No.
crazy.
5 days
Absolutely
enough to
not.
close the bridge, but not to
Right.
save it. I wouldn't.
Yeah, not to
It's
save
true,
it.
yeah.
So the first option is turned down, and they were thinking about adopting the second option. Obviously, hadn't gotten to it yet. But also, the day before the collapse, there had been a journalism class at a high school in the area that was supposed to write an essay about, like, just supposed. So, just suppose, aliens came down or something like that, where they use their imaginations to write a story. But one kid wrote, just suppose the Tacoma Narrow Bridge collapses.
No.
Is this
And-
how so I'm curious because the issues were well known during construction. Like, is that widely publicized that there were issues during construction?
I believe so.
This was a
Yeah.
concern, so this is just one of those things that it's like, oh, the public knows that it's like scary as heck up there.
Well, you got to
Right.
remember all these guys that are working on the bridge, I'm sure, are out
Go home to their family.
They
telling
talk,
people.
true,
Not
true.
to mention that you can see how much this thing is moving. So
Yeah.
if you're really, excited about the bridge and you want to go and watch construction as people do,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
then you're watching
we're
this
not
and you're going, I don't know about this.
We're
Right.
not suggesting this child destroy this bridge.
No,
The day
no.
Yeah.
No. I'm sure,
No way.
however, he is a high school boy, so I'm sure that he was like, I called it.
Yeah.
For real.
Look what-
For real.
I'm psychic.
cut to
I can
him.
predict the future.
Yep.
Yeah. Cut to him on the side of the bridge just with a big fan doing
Uh-huh.
this.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
you
was me the
totally
whole
know that he
time.
used this to try and get some girl to kiss him for sure.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
I'm putting
Not
my
on the
money down on
bridge.
it. No, not on the bridge.
Let's kiss by the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah. So none of this is unexpected. Back in 1938, okay, this is 2 years before the bridge opens, the designer of the Mackinac Bridge, this guy Steinman, who was like a big deal in the bridge industry, had
Mhm.
told a bunch of engineers at some meeting that the bridge design was going to fail. He said it flat out.
Dang.
Well, because he could see it. I mean,
Right.
he's
Yeah, he's like, what
he's
the
a
hell
big
is
deal.
this?
Yeah, he knows his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Obviously, there's an inquiry into why it collapsed. And so one of the reasons that they found, as we've talked about before, is because the bridge had been built with these I-beams instead of the open lattice truss.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what's happening is the wind is getting caught in the bottom part of the I-beam, like the angle, and turning
Mhm.
into like a mini tornado. And then it
Mhm.
ends up kind of moving over to the other side, and it's just moving this I-beam back and forth. It's getting caught in there. It's this little vortex, right?
You want to know what that's called?
Yes, please.
Aerostatic flutter.
Ooh. What's that?
No, sorry.
Say it again.
Aeroelastic flutter.
There you go.
Sorry. Not aerostatic. Aeroelastic flutter.
That's what she said.
Yep.
That is why we have
That's
you
what
here
she said.
for the
That's
big
what she
words
said. Yeah.
that Meg can't pronounce.
That even I can't pronounce.
So the fluttering that was produced by them using these I-beams ends up getting so big that several of the cables failed. And when that happened, the weight of the road became too much for the other cables, and the whole thing came down. So there are your failure points, I guess, Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
this failure obviously leads to a bunch of other suspension bridges to be evaluated.
Mm.
It
imagine.
ended up helping engineers understand these bridges better, even to this day, obviously, because Monica learned about it a few years ago, and this happened in
Yeah.
1940. So,
Right.
they end up doing a bunch of studies for like 15 years after the bridge came down about the aerodynamic effects of a wind.
Mm.
And there were even a couple other bridges that were reinforced because of this collapse. Okay. But in the aftermath, as if it can't get worse, I love these
Right.
stories. It's like with all of my stories. That's what I say. I think it can't get worse until it does. So in the aftermath, the state of Washington has problems collecting all of the insurance money because one of the insurance agents totally scammed them and took the insurance premiums.
What?
No way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. You
gotta
can't
have
make this stuff up.
No,
Oh
you
my
have to have
gosh.
some big balls to scam the state of Washington.
The state of
Yeah,
the
out of some
entire state.
insurance money. Jeez.
Mm-hmm. This
Ballsy.
also basically ruins old Leon's career, obviously.
Obviously.
And he ended up dying a couple years later.
No, oh, that's kind of sad.
It is sad, but I mean, I don't think he was that young. It's not like he was in his 30s or
Oh,
anything.
okay.
So
Yeah.
Eldridge, on the other hand, is super pissed about this whole thing.
Because he's like, hey, I told y'all. I
Told
told
you
you.
so. Told
Literally
you so.
told you so,
Tried
yeah.
to point it out in the beginning.
Yeah. So he even goes to the papers and he goes off about, quote, the men who held the purse strings were the whip crackers on the entire project. He's not wrong.
Amen.
He's not wrong.
That is
And
a
unfortunately-
period on a long sentence.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, that's usually the case.
Poor Eldridge. Yeah. So he basically said that they were cheap and instead,
And they were pushing to keep a schedule, I'm sure.
yeah, and they didn't use the tried and true methods of design.
Mhm.
So he even told the papers that he had told Leon that the solid girders were just sales and that nobody listened to him. And again, not wrong,
Not wrong at
Right.
all.
right?
Oh,
So he's
geez.
saying this. The Mackinac Bridge dude is saying this years before any of this happened. And then poor Eldridge is like, forget this. I'm not building bridges anymore. He quits his job and in 1941 joins the Navy. He's like, I'm done
deuces.
with bridges.
Yeah.
Right.
Deuces him out.
Which I don't blame him.
Don't either.
No.
So then it comes out in the papers that even the Public Works Administration had refused to approve the design of the bridge when it was completed in July.
Wait a second. They built a bridge on a not approved design?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's a good thing to like render you guys speechless on a podcast, but I do it a lot.
You do this a lot. Well, this is the petty details are mind-blowing. It's amazing.
So there's the field engineer that works for Public Works, And he even submitted a report that was warning about the problems in the design. And he gets overruled also.
This is crazy.
So they knew.
Everybody's like, we don't care that it's crap, but we're
They knew.
doing
Right.
it anyways.
They knew.
Oh, geez.
And had it been probably any later than 1940, there would have been so many lawsuits about this.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, there's probably so many lawsuits, and I was like, oh,
They're
it's
not.
early 1900s.
Yeah. No, there are not a lot of
Oh.
lawsuits about this. So
Wow.
they end up rebuilding the bridge in 1950. So it takes another 10 years.
Jeez.
And interesting enough, the design that they used for the 1950s bridge, very similar to Eldridge's original design.
Hmm.
The only thing that they added was
Shocker.
more slots for airflow, and they
Oh.
did the hydraulic dampers and didn't
Yeah.
mess them up this time.
Right. With their
Nice, yeah.
sandblasting.
But they even reused the original piers and cable anchors in the new bridge, which is still standing. So Eldridge, good for
Yeah.
you. Good on you. You should have been listened to.
Yeah,
For
for real. Jeez.
Yeah.
What a
So
mess.
pieces of the old car that went down the bridge and poor Tubby are still in the water, but the car and the bridge pieces serve as an artificial reef. So at least something good came out of this disaster. And like I said,
Okay.
it taught a lot of people a
Yeah.
lot of lessons, and
Right.
somehow nobody like died. I mean,
Yeah.
except for Tubby, but
No, for real, yeah.
That's crazy though. Like,
Literally learn
jeez.
from your past, like learn from
Yeah.
people's past. Like that's, I mean,
Uh-huh.
if you
Mhm.
see something happening that didn't work the first time,
Yeah.
if you're not gonna
Don't
change
keep
anything up,
doing it.
then don't keep doing it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow.
And the only thing that I know that was sort of a lawsuit is Coatsworth ended up getting, I don't know, something stupid like $1,000 for his car. That was it.
Car probably wasn't even worth that.
But Leon wasn't sued, like the state of Washington wasn't sued. As far as I know, I couldn't find anything on it. So yeah.
Did
That's insane.
did it say anywhere if the entire funding came from federal money or if only part of the funding was federal money and part of it was the state of Washington?
I think only part of the money was federal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because remember, the state of Washington is the one who has the insurance claims on it. So I would assume that they would have had some
True.
money in there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So Cam, how do you feel about bridges now?
I'm gonna I'm gonna send an I love you text to my entire family every time I go over one now. Even those bridges that are like a couple feet over like a
Right.
small thing, I'm like, you guys, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
He's gonna
Pretty
stop
windy
like
today.
before and start
Yeah.
inspecting the bridge to see what kind of construction it is. Are
I'm
these
gonna blow.
trusses
Yeah.
or
I'm gonna blow on the
beams?
side. I'm gonna go on the side and go.
Does it move? Okay, good. It doesn't.
Yeah,
We're
yeah. It
good.
didn't move. Okay, good.
He's
Okay.
gonna carry a fan with him everywhere he goes.
Yes. Yes.
He'll start building scale models of bridges before
That's
he
right.
drives
No, for
over
real.
Yep. So you guys have learned some petty construction details today and how you should always,
to build a bridge.
yeah, you
Right.
should always try and use some tried and true methods, or at least test out your theories before you build them full scale.
Yes. Yeah.
And always
'Cause, I mean,
remember Mother Nature stronger than she
Oh.
looks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wind is nothing, but wind's pretty powerful.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. I know it was only,
Well-
remember, it's only 45 miles an hour. So if you
Mhm.
watch
Right.
that clip that we showed, those guys' hats aren't even flying off.
It's a light
Mm-mm.
breeze. And that bridge said,
Nope.
noodle, goodbye.
I'm done.
Exactly. Oh,
Uh-huh. So there you go. Petty details on
Crazy.
some crazy construction disasters.
it makes me seriously wonder about some of the bridges here.
Don't. Just don't.
Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Mostly, yeah. Well, because they've brought companies in from out of town, from out of state,
Yeah.
to both design them and to build them, just depends on which bridge you're talking about.
Mm.
I think a couple of them had the designs were done by companies here, but they were built by out-of-state companies. And then there's a couple of them where both design and construction were from out of state.
Mm.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Design is important.
Design is
I'd say
testing is important. Yeah.
Testing is important, yeah.
right.
There's always ways to improve. Like, you don't want to just sit here
Mm.
and say, "Oh, we're doing it because this is the way we've always done it." But
Right.
Right.
there's a reason we've always done it this way.
Yeah, but you
too,
should
know what I
definitely
mean?
like test it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's
So-
yeah.
I'd say close your eyes while going over any bridge.
Please
but
don't.
As long
don't
as
do
you're not
that.
the one
That would bring on
driving.
a
If
whole
you're
nother set of-
driving,
yeah, that would bring on a whole nother set of disasters. So
don't-
Yeah.
please
Never
don't
mind.
listen to Cam.
Yeah,
Right.
don't-
Yeah,
yeah.
no. If you're in the if you're a passenger princess, by all means, close your eyes, going over bridge. That's
Right.
cool. We get it. If you're in the
Right.
driver's seat, you keep those eyeballs wide open.
Yes.
For real. You need to be highly aware.
We have some
Especially if the
serious-
bridge is going up 28.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have some very, very important life lessons to teach you on petty details.
Yes.
One
we
of which
do.
is keep your eyes open when you're driving.
Yes, at
Yeah.
all times. Although I kind of feel like that should
Never
just be a
blink.
common sense thing,
But
but
yeah.
evidently we are here to teach lessons too.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us today. And I'm sorry if I scared you all.
Off of bridges.
Just remember that if you are actually in Washington, the Tacoma Narrows bridge that is there now is very safe. As far
It
as
has
we
been
know,
there since
because
it
it's
has
been there since
1950.
1950. Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
they use the
the
tried and true
non-
methods.
They
It's the
did.
non-fruit
It's the
Roll
non-fruit
up.
roll-up one, yes.
fruit roll
Yeah.
up version, yeah.
For roll-ups.
For the
All
win.
right. All right, everybody. Have a good night. Petty
Stay
details.
petty, my
One more
friends.
time. Stay petty.
Woohoo.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Monica, our guest hosts, and listeners for getting into the petty details with me today. Stay petty, my friends.